Hello and welcome to Fork in Politics. I'm Calvin Chapman, your host, and today is going to be the first in our new episode of Get Wrecked Wednesdays, where I'm going to attempt to make a new video once a week on a Wednesday where we look at a person in politics. So for our first one, I had to do one person more than I had to do anybody else. He's not, in fact, directly in politics. He's a union leader, and it is the fat, hypocritical bastard, Len McCluskey. Len McCluskey runs Unite the Union. So as you can imagine, he is extremely left-wing, and they fund the Labour Party, I think, more than any of the other unions do. In 2014, Len McCluskey did an article in The Guardian, and in that he said that HMRC, who's the UK tax man, had to get a handle on tax avoidance in the UK. If you have a look down in the description, there's a link to the website, and on there I've got the quote itself with the link to the newspaper in which he said it. Now, since 2010, the UK has been going through a period of austerity imposed initially by the Conservatives and Lib Dem in coalition, then by the Conservatives, and now it will be the Conservatives with the DUP. And this has led to disabled people having their money removed. It's led to homeless people, in the case of my local big issue seller, having their benefits stopped because they get a form to the benefits agency 24 hours too late. And in that case, Tom, he's gone 2 weeks with no income other than what he can make from selling the big issue, which I can tell you is not a very large amount of money. So he supplements that with benefits, and he got a form in 24 hours late, and they cut his money off for 2 weeks. And essentially me and other local businessmen have been having to give him large amounts of money just to get him through. And that's what austerity in the UK has done. Since austerity was imposed, there has been a lot of criticism of tax avoidance. Now, tax avoidance is the use of the law, so you are legally avoiding tax. And people like Gary Lineker, who likes to tell us all that we must open our borders and let in as many people as want to come to England, he's the one that is refusing to pay his fair share of tax because he doesn't think it's fair. And I think he's a massive hypocrite. So Len McCluskey jumped in and said, yes, HMRC, you rotters, you need to do more about tax avoidance. And when I was looking at this the other day, because I was looking at the amount of money that had been given to Labour, I naturally saw that Unite the Union. Now, Unite the Union predominantly represents working class people. It's working class people that put their money into the union, and the union gives 400 grand so that Len McCluskey can go get himself a mortgage. They wouldn't do that for anybody else, but they did it for Len McCluskey. And it's quite sickening when you listen to him saying that HMRC should do more about tax avoidance, because when I looked at the figures, and they are in the description below, I looked at how much had been given to Labour over the past 12 months of reported figures. So that goes from the 24th of March 2016, which is the most latest reporting that they've done, and it goes back to 24th of March 2015. So it doesn't cover the general election, but it does cover the referendum. And what did I find when I looked? They'd given Labour, only Labour and nobody else, they'd given Labour £3,096,000 and some change. Now, that's a huge amount of money. That is these people that are working hard and pay their union for representation. They're in fact paying the Labour Party, even though they probably don't want to be doing that. So in 12 months alone, Unite the Union gave, let's call it 3.1 million to the Labour Party. So I went and had a look at their income and how much tax Unite the Union is paying. So in 2012, they had an income of 154 million. 154 million. And they paid not one single penny. Not one copper penny was paid in tax by Unite the Union. So I had a look at 2013. That was 157 million pounds that they had coming in. And they didn't pay a single penny in tax. And at this point, I was sat thinking, Len McCluskey, you absolute fat, hypocritical bastard. So I had a look at 2014 and they got just shy of 161 million pounds. And that year they paid £1 million in tax. And in 2015, which is the last year that the Unite the Union's accounts are available for, they had an income of 165,500,000 and they paid £1.2 million in tax. So if you take 2012 to 2015, which is the reported period of their accounts, they paid a sum total of £2.2 million in tax. And that was on an income of £638,522,000. So you might think, no, they've got lots and lots of things to be spending that money on. You know, it's not all taxable. For that period, they had a surplus, and that's how it's accounted for in their accounts. They had a surplus during that period of £84,224,000. That's £84 million surplus. That's an income of £638,522,000. That is an astronomical amount of money. And they paid 2.2 million. That gave them, for that period, an effective tax rate of 0.3445% a year. That means they are paying less tax, respectively, than their cleaner is. They're paying less tax than the workers. That means that when the government is having to impose austerity, they're having to do it because people like Len McCluskey are refusing to pay tax. And I have no doubt that it was absolutely legal the way they did it, but I'd like to bet that it was unethical. So, my Get Wrecked Wednesday, it starts with you, Len McCluskey. You are a hypocrite. You have not paid into the system. People like me, I pay into the system. I pay 40% tax. And I don't cry over paying tax because I know that people like Tom, the chap that stands in all kinds of weather until 8 p.m. at night selling the Big Issue, I know that I'm helping the system pay for someone like him, and we should be paying to help people like him. And what you're doing is you're stopping hospitals employing nurses because there's no money in the system, because people like you and Gary Lineker, when you're spouting off about how we all have to do more, it's in fact people like you and him, Lineker, that aren't doing your bit for society. And you know what? You make me absolutely sick. So that's the end of Get Wrecked Wednesday today. I'll be back next week. Thank you. Goodbye.